Hello, all, and welcome to the latest episode here of Senior Spotlight. My name is Ben Pope, and I will be joining you all as we get to know some of our graduating senior class here at Dean College just a little bit better. I'm lucky to be joined today by a special guest, our very own co-president of Dean News Network, Miss Addison Graham. Addie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, especially now that I'm here with you. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm really excited to be getting into some of the details behind Miss Addison Graham.
Of course.
So let's start off with some pre-Dean College stuff. Tell me a little bit about how you first heard about the school or your interests in high school and how you developed that into your major here at college.
Sure. So I've always been interested in entertainment since I was younger. I used to act. I was actress in TV shows when I was very little. Embarrassingly enough, I had a local access television show called Out and About with Addie Graham.
I'd
And
never heard of this.
it was very underground, but it started my love for entertainment and for video production. And my dad used to edit in front of me, and so it started there. And over the years, I was in other things, and I was in a documentary when I was about 13, uh, called Cool Stuff Dolphins, directed by none other than Greg Siebert, which is the head of the communications program here. But I didn't hear about Dean through him. I had a friend who was interested in the theater program here. I did a tour, and my mom and I were walking through, and we heard Greg talking, and we're like, no way. We thought he was still teaching at Bridgewater. So on my tour here, running into Greg was kind of like my push into coming to Dean, which is awesome.
That's really cool, Addie. Knowing you for a couple years now, I really didn't know some of those stories, which is really cool. I didn't know you knew Greg that well, so that's kind of like a little bit of an into the school, so that's amazing.
Okay, we go way back.
So let's talk about some of the things you do here at Dean. So are there any roles and responsibilities you hold? You mentioned you're president of Dean News Network, but what else do you hold here on campus?
Um, I have many hats. I am co-president of Dean News Network. I am secretary for the Speakeasies Improv Troupe. I'm also the director of productions for Power 88, Dean College's radio station. I am part of the allocation committee for SGA, and I'm also the School of Business representative. And lastly, I am on the special events board for Dean Activities Board.
A lot of hats, like you mentioned.
Oh
That's
yeah.
very, very great to hear. And it seems like you've taken on a lot of responsibilities here. Maybe let's look back a little bit. I know we just talked about pre Dean College and everything, but is there any big changes that you would say from where you were at high school and where you sit right now?
Oh, 100%. I think I am a completely different person than I was back then. Since coming to Dean, I've discovered how much fun I have being involved in a bunch of different things. Also, during COVID, I think everyone felt a shift in themselves, and I felt it, like, especially I was in a place where I wanted to take on more responsibility. I wanted to be more involved, so I had a way to ground myself during such a turbulent time.
Yep.
And coming back, I feel like I was a better student, I should say. I was more on the ball with all my clubs and everything. So I think the biggest shift is just being more present and also more ready to get things done.
I can definitely understand where you're coming from. I think that quarantine year of 2020, it was kind of weird for a lot of people to adjust into, and I think a lot of people took it in different approaches. And I'm
Hmm.
glad to see that actually made you a little bit more motivated.
Oh
That's
yeah.
great to hear, and I'm really glad to hear that. And that's probably why you're in the position that you are now. So that's really amazing to hear. So with all the different hats that you wear and being here for 4 years, I would definitely assume that you've had some great memories here at Dean College. Would you like to share a few? Or are there any lasting ones that you really think you'll hold on to past this past senior year, I guess?
Yes, there's two that really stick out to me. First one was the first day, freshman year, right after moving in. My roommate Megan and I, who I went to high school with, had a few people over, um, and it was us, our friend Nick, who we also went to school with, and then his two friends that he met through the theater department, Sarah and Jason. We're all just sitting in the room, have a great time, and it was like our first time getting to know each other. And here we are 4 years later, and we live with two of the people that we had in our room, and then the other one was still like one of our great friends and lives a floor below us. So like, it's amazing to look back, and as a freshman, you're like, oh guys, senior year, we'll get a condo together and all work out. And then here we are, and it actually happened. And it's a very great feeling to have that. But one of my favorite memories actually happened right in the studio this time last year. We were doing the last shoot before the last class graduated, and there was a segment called Fish and Chips. And they submitted a script that didn't really have much on it, but they were very much the improv type.
Yep.
And they started going through, and then after getting through the part that was scripted, they went, we actually just wanted to take this time to talk about D News Network. And it ended up being a very heartwarming moment. Emily was standing in here with me, and we were all tearing up. And it was just one of those moments when you see how much a club's affected you and like how deep your connections is with other people. So that was like an amazing feeling. And I still think about that sometimes.
Before we wrap up, I just wanted to give you the opportunity for any messages that you want to send out to family, friends, or any just last thoughts.
Of course. I think my biggest thing for anyone who's either just starting their college experience or is even in their senior year and getting ready to graduate like I am, don't be afraid to just like step out of your comfort zone. Being involved was one of the best decisions I've made since being at college. And even though it can get hectic and a little overwhelming at times, it's still the fact that I'll have these memories once I graduate. And nothing has been as rewarding as the clubs and activities and organizations that I'm involved with. So please, if you are not involved in something, get involved. It is the best decision you can make because you'll be able to meet amazing people like I've met here at Teen News Network, every single one of you.
Well, for anyone that's more interested in getting involved here on campus, listen to Addie's advice. I know that I've definitely been able to do this past year, and I really appreciate that. So I really take your advice to heart, and I appreciate what you've been able to do here as well, Addie. So thank you.
Thank you.
On that note, I'd like to thank you for joining me on this episode of Senior Spotlight. And thank you all for watching once again. We really appreciate it. And we will see you next time on the next edition of Senior Spotlight.